Days of Our Lives rock Salem, but one is about to explode. Aaron returns to destroy Tate and Sophia's big day. Salem is about to be swept up in a whirlwind of love, betrayal, and stunning revelations as Days of Our Lives promises a June 2025 filled with romance and utter chaos. At the center of the emotional storm, 3 major weddings are looming on the horizon. But while fans may be preparing for bouquets, tuxedos, and teary-eyed vows, not every ceremony is destined to end in "I do." In fact, one is headed for an unforgettable disaster, and it all comes down to one name, Aaron Green. Yes, you read that right. In the most shocking twist of the summer, Aaron, long gone from the Salem scene, will return without warning to claim what he believes is rightfully his, Sophia's baby, and perhaps Sophia herself. And his timing? Impeccably cruel. Right on the day of Sophia and Tate's wedding. Tate and Sophia, a rush to the altar. Or to disaster. Tate Black, Leo Howard, the once rebellious teen trying to find his way in a complicated world, seemed to be leaning toward rekindling his old flame with Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis. But fate had other plans. When Tate caught Holly in a tender, possibly romantic moment with Doug Williams III, Peyton Meyer, something inside him shifted. Heartbroken and adrift, Tate found solace in the unlikeliest of places, Sophia Choi, Rachel Boyd, a young woman who had once been just a friend, an ally, someone with whom he shared secrets and silence. But life has a funny way of twisting relationships. Before long, their bond deepened, their hearts intertwined, and then came the baby. While it wasn't originally planned, far from it, in fact, Sophia's pregnancy became the glue that pulled them together. Tate, desperate for meaning and stability, saw in Sophia and their unborn child a second chance at a real family, one free of the chaos that had so often defined his young life. Initially, the couple had explored adoption, unsure of whether they were ready for parenthood. But the moment they laid eyes on their child, all doubts evaporated. The love was immediate, fierce, and undeniable. That was when the idea of marriage took root in Tate's mind. What better way to seal this unexpected journey than with a wedding? The town buzzed with excitement. Invitations were sent. Dresses were chosen. Rings were purchased. The big day was set. But they never expected Aaron Green. The return of Aaron Green, father, lover, saboteur. Louis Tomeo returns as Aaron Green, a name long absent from Salem but one that Sophia can never quite forget. Aaron was her first real love, passionate, unpredictable, intense. Their relationship burned hot and fast, and ended in a way that left more questions than answers. Then, just as suddenly as he entered her life, he disappeared. Unbeknownst to Tate or the rest of Salem, Sophia and Aaron had one final encounter just before she and Tate became a real couple. A night fueled by memories and emotions, one Sophia buried deep the moment she realized she was pregnant. But Aaron hasn't forgotten. Rumors of Sophia's pregnancy have reached him. He's been doing his own math, and the dates don't quite add up. Suspicion turns to obsession. And obsession brings him back to Salem with one mission, to prove that he, not Tate, is the father, and to stop the wedding before Sophia makes the biggest mistake of her life. On the day of the wedding, just as the guests settle into their pews and the music begins to swell, Aaron bursts through the chapel doors like a thunderclap. "Stop the wedding!" he shouts, sending gasps rippling through the crowd. Eyes turn. Mouths fall open. And Sophia? She goes pale. Aaron holds up a folder, a demand for a court-ordered DNA test. He's ready to take Sophia to court if he has to, and he's not leaving town without answers. "You can't marry him," he tells her. "Not until we know the truth." The wedding that wasn't, chaos in the chapel. What follows is nothing short of a public unraveling. Tate, blindsided and humiliated, demands answers. Sophia, trembling, confesses to the one-night stand she never meant to become anything more. The chapel falls into stunned silence. Her mother begins to cry. Tate's father storms out. And the priest quietly sets down the vows he'll no longer read. Outside, Aaron waits, smug but earnest. He truly believes the child is his, and he's willing to fight, not just for custody, but for Sophia's heart. But Sophia? She's broken. Torn between two men, each tied to her in different ways, she faces an impossible decision. Should she cling to the man who stood beside her during pregnancy, who offered stability and love, or does she owe the truth to the one who may be her child's real father? What comes next? Salem has seen its share of dramatic weddings, but this one may go down in Days of Our Lives history as one of the most catastrophic. What was meant to be a celebration turned into a battleground of secrets, heartbreak, and identity. And this is just the beginning. Aaron isn't going anywhere. He's lawyered up, moving into town, and determined to claim not just his biological rights, but a life he thinks was stolen from him. Meanwhile, Tate struggles with betrayal and public embarrassment. His trust in Sophia has been shattered. Will he walk away from both her and the child he thought was his? Or will a second paternity test turn everything on its head once again? As for Sophia, her days of indecision are over. Her every move now carries the weight of a child's future, and a town watching closely. Salem, Indiana, June, love, lies, and a summer to remember with 2 more weddings still on the horizon, and we'll get to those later. The heat in Salem this summer won't just come from the rising temperatures. Hearts will be broken. Alliances will shift. And as the sun sets on what was supposed to be a happily ever after, new stories begin. Because in Salem, love is never simple, and the truth always finds its way to the altar. 2. Next, Days of Our Lives, E.J. DiMera's vow to protect Johnny sets off a twisting, emotional detective journey in Salem. Nothing ever stays quiet for long, and especially not when E.J. DiMera is involved. After waking from a coma that nearly took his life, E.J., portrayed by Dan Feuerriegel, is about to launch himself into a whirlwind of action, emotion, and relentless pursuit of justice, starting with one solemn vow: his son Johnny DiMera will not go to prison. For longtime fans of Days of Our Lives, E.J. has always been a man who doesn't make promises lightly. He's stubborn, intelligent, often morally gray, but above all, fiercely loyal to those he loves. And now, with his memories slowly returning from that fateful day when he was shot, E.J. is ready to do whatever it takes to protect his family. Even if that means rewriting the narrative of his own shooting, or chasing down the truth, no matter where it leads. The promise heard around Salem. Spoilers hint that E.J. will be seen making that promise all over town, whispers of it echoing through DiMera Enterprises, over hushed conversations at the Brady pub, and behind closed doors at the courthouse. His words are crystal clear: Johnny will not go to Statesville. Not on his watch. Johnny, Carson Boatman, who had a complicated relationship with his father even before the shooting, is now at the center of a storm he might not be able to escape alone. Though the evidence is thin and the motive unclear, Johnny has been linked to the incident. And for a brief moment, even E.J.'s muddled memory seemed to point in his direction. But E.J. is starting to doubt that narrative. The memory that doesn't add up as E.J. tries to piece together what happened. He's haunted by one particular memory. He recalls slipping a memory card into his pocket just before Johnny entered the room. According to that recollection, Johnny arrived, brandished a weapon, and shortly after, E.J. was shot. But there's a problem. We now know the memory card ended up in the drawer, something that wouldn't have happened unless some time had passed between Johnny's arrival and the actual shooting. That single discrepancy throws E.J.'s whole recollection into question. E.J.'s logical mind, sharpened from years of legal practice, corporate maneuvering, and family betrayals, is starting to poke holes in the story. How could he have moved the card after Johnny pulled a gun on him? Why would Johnny wait? And more importantly, is it even Johnny who shot him? These questions are beginning to bubble under the surface, and fans can expect that once EJ begins to follow this trail, he won't stop until he finds the truth. A coma's toll on the mind. Let's not forget, EJ has just awoken from a coma. His memories are not reliable. Traumatic brain injuries, sedation, and the haze of unconsciousness can cause the mind to rearrange facts, blur time, and fabricate connections that didn't exist. That's exactly what seems to be happening here. But make no mistake, EJ knows this. He's aware of his limitations, which makes him even more determined to find clarity. And with every passing day, more fragments of truth return, some expected, some shocking. Fans should brace themselves. This isn't just a case of memory loss. This is the beginning of a mystery, and EJ Mera is about to play the role of the reluctant detective. A twisting detective story begins. Days of Our Lives spoilers tease that EJ's upcoming storyline will be filled with twists and turns, red herrings, and false leads. And as EJ digs deeper, he might start to suspect that a third party was involved, someone lurking in the shadows, manipulating the scene to frame Johnny, or worse, to eliminate EJ entirely. Could it be a sibling rivalry gone wrong? A business enemy trying to gain control of Mera Enterprises? Or someone from EJ's past returning for revenge? Whatever the case, this mystery won't be solved easily. EJ will follow every lead, confront every suspect, and even interrogate members of his own family if he has to. Because for EJ, this isn't just about the truth, it's about redemption. It's about being the father he failed to be for so long. The emotional stakes. While the mystery unfolds, there's a deeper, more emotional layer at play here. EJ is not just trying to protect Johnny legally. He's trying to repair something broken in their relationship, something that was shattered long before the shooting. Every step he takes in this investigation is also a step toward healing, toward reconnecting with a son he's hurt and disappointed over the years. That makes this story more than just a whodunit. It's a father's mission. A battle between memory and truth. A man's fight to redeem himself, one clue at a time. As EJ's journey continues, Days of fans can expect high drama, powerful confrontations, and unexpected allies and enemies emerging from the shadows. Because in Salem, nothing is ever what it seems, and EJ Mera is about to learn that the hard way. Will he discover who truly pulled the trigger? Or will the truth destroy the very family he's trying so hard to protect? Either way, EJ's promise is clear, and he's willing to burn every bridge to keep it. Stay tuned.